Hello, everybody. Welcome to Feedback for the week of January 10th, 2012. I'd like to welcome my esteemed panel here today. Nicole, thank you so much for being here. Donnie Diablo, a.k.a. Jeff Keighley in the blackface, a.k.a. Donnell. And then the only person that I'm going to give a last name today because you've recently changed it, Dana Leahy.
That's me.
Welcome to the show today.
Thank
Congratulations, not only on having the coolest nerd wedding of all time, but on actually having guests attend your wedding, considering you had it the day after Skyrim came out.
Well, the thing our audience might not know about planning a wedding is that you have to do it way in advance.
Whoa.
And so we didn't actually know when we booked the venue that it would be the day before Skyrim, but it worked out, and we thank everyone for attending, despite the fact that they were missing out on Skyrim.
Yeah, and next time you come in, bring one of your Mad Libs, because we actually referenced it on one of the other shows.
Oh, no.
They had a Mad Libs at their wedding, and it's like, hi, I'm Blair Herter, and I'm here from, and I assure you every single person wrote Skyrim.
Yes.
Into that blank right there. So thank you for providing those for us, and thank you guys for being here. I want to start off with something positive, and this is very surprising, not only in any industry, considering the state of the economy, but also in an industry where things are pirated often. Valve has reported its 7th year of 100% growth. The company that provides all this content online to people, its 7th year of 100% growth. So I want to ask you guys, what is the last game that you bought from Steam?
Last game I bought from Steam, it's been a while because my current PC obsession is SWTOR, and obviously that's not Steam. But last game I bought was Dino D-Day. It began as a Half-Life mod with dinosaurs and Nazis, and now it's a actual game, and both Allied forces and the Nazis have dinosaurs.
Wow.
So it's a buy.
You know what's incredible about that game is that if any one of us went into a pitch meeting with investors and said, so I got this game, it's going to have dinosaurs, Nazis, and D-Day, they'd be like, the door that you just walked in is also the one you need to leave through. But now it is a successful thing because
There's expansion packs for it. I mean, it's
Wow.
amazing. Yeah. Raptors. So I'm just going to leave it on Raptors.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Donna, what about you?
I think the last game I got was Shank, and that's because what Steam has is really good deals. Like they had like a package for indie games that were like $5, or like I think some were like $1 even. So that was the last game with Shank because I never played it before on the Xbox Live, and so I had an opportunity to play it on the PC, and it's great. I love it. But like a full game, if it's like I think the last one I bought was Dead Island. So
Really? On Steam?
Yeah,
On
he
Steam.
That's
bought
interesting.
it when they accidentally released the dev build, right?
Yeah, because like
So,
Because I
yeah.
want to break things.
you can get it on Steam if you get 4 of your friends to buy Dead Island, the whole you get 4 games. It's actually cheaper.
Really?
So a bunch of my friends are like, yeah, let's just do that, and then we got it and we played it, and then it was broken, and then we're like, oh, okay, well, let's stop playing it and wait for the patch. So it was kind of like, but it was great.
All right. And Dana, what about you?
I don't own a gaming PC, so I don't use Steam. But my new husband, who used to work here, loves Steam. So I walk past his computer all the time, and he's playing something new that he has purchased out of our new joint bank account.
Oh. I
a lot of things on
also...
sale right now, so it's not that bad.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine.
The underlying statement beneath that statement is also one that I'm familiar with as well. When we start talking about joint bank accounts, it's a different story. But yeah, and if you want to know anything about StarCraft 2, specifically, follow
boy.
her husband.
Yeah.
Because it's all he tweets about constantly. But I like him, and I'm waiting for something else that I care about, but it's just not coming right now. But yes, he plays a lot of StarCraft 2. And, I recently bought a gaming PC for SWTOR, but I haven't ever bought anything off of Steam. But we talked about this yesterday meeting. One of the things that I think we can really take from this, and Nicole and I are part of kind of this email group that has a bunch of different nerds from a bunch of different industries.
It's a very elite club. You guys probably haven't heard of it, so
Yeah,
sorry.
only because you didn't ask. Because if you ever did, we could probably get you in this email group. But one of the, I don't know if they want to be named, but one of the people in it is a very big writer for Marvel. And we got on the subject of piracy in an email chain, and Nicole brought up this point that, all it really needs to happen, like somebody like Valve can experience success over a number of years if it's accessible, if the content is good, and and if it's there for people basically. And kind of people started poo-pooing on the idea, but people really that aren't involved in an industry where distribution is done digitally. But then this guy from Marvel chimed in and said, listen, it's kind of weird for me to be saying this, but like look at the success of DC last year because they started offering their comics online. DC beat Marvel last year, largely in part, I think, to a number of reasons. Number one being that they relaunched their entire brand, but the digital stuff did have something to do with it. So, so what I take from this is that if you just make it easy to buy, people probably won't steal it. And I'll be the first to admit, I have borrowed things indefinitely from the internet in my day.
Borrowed.
But last night is a great example. I wanted to watch Friday Night Lights, right? Everybody says great things about the show. I went to one of my sites to see if it was available. It was, but I was like, it's going to take like a day and a half to download this. Yeah. So I bought it on iTunes because it took 45 minutes. And I think if it's easily available to people will buy it.
And I think this is something that Gabe Newell has harped upon, numerous times. He said that this is how you beat piracy. This is why it's not an issue. It shouldn't be an issue that so many developers and publishers are spending so much time on, because as long as you accept that your consumers come first, and if they want your content, they will do the right thing if it's easy.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't even need to be like, incredibly cheap, because like a lot of things on iTunes, like I'll pay like $4.99 for like a 30-minute episode or something. Like I know that's too much in my opinion, but I'll do it if it's easier.
Absolutely.
I don't want to wait for things to download or buffer, or it just, I don't know. I want what I want now, and if I can pay $2 for it, great.
Right. And I don't think these industries have any excuse to not embrace this, because the precedent
future.
has already been set. Look what happened with the music industry.
Yeah.
Now everybody else is experiencing this, and why would a company, I guess, Dana, why would a company not want to get involved with digital distribution? Why would they continue to not embrace this?
I think they're scared. I think, Nicole, you said, Valve, for them, the customer comes first. And I think with a lot of these companies, that's not the case in any facet of what they do. And so they're very unlikable to the public. People love Valve. It's really hard to say something negative about them as a company.
Sure.
Because they do so many great things. They put out great products. They have great quality control. But a lot of these other major companies, major players, don't have that perception in the public. And so I think it makes them like sort of an enemy to people, and it makes the public more willing to pirate their stuff, because they're like, screw you, I'm going to go out and get your game for free.
And,
Right.
and one of the articles I was reading about digital distribution and SOPA and all those issues was more about how the reason so many companies are slow to accept digital distribution as a way to distribute their media is because blaming piracy is a good way to blame for their shortcomings,
Sure.
their lack of profit. Like, this movie didn't do well, let's blame piracy, because that's an issue that we can point to. And I think I don't think piracy is as big an issue as it actually is. I think it's a really great scapegoat.
Right. I mean, to get back to this email list, one of the guys, there's a couple people actually that are movie studio executives, and they said, again, will remain anonymous, but they basically said, we truly can't quantify how much money we're losing due to piracy. I mean, there are numbers that exist, but in the grand scheme of things, it's really hard to tell if that person, that 9-year-old that downloaded Mission Impossible 4, would have ever paid for a movie's ticket to go see Mission Impossible 4. So it's right now there's not enough data really that
Unbiased
exists, I think.
data.
Sure, absolutely. And they did say, I mean, a lot of times when they do extend surveys to their customers, they have a very specific base that they're targeting, and they almost to the point of where they're reaching out to people knowing what the answer is going to be, and that is why they are reaching out to those people.
Well, I don't know. I think I kind of have to disagree a little bit on the point of being. I mean, it is easier to, get it from Steam because it's just one click of the button. But I mean, if you really wanted to, if you don't have the money and you wanted to download the game, it takes, for me personally, it takes the same amount of time. Like on Steam, it takes about 8 hours to download the Dead Island or the Witcher 2. But that's the same, or even probably, I think, faster if I borrowed it.
Right.
There's enough seeds, sure.
Right.
Yeah, right. And then, of course, I would have to, key hack it and all this gen stuff. But I still think, like, our internet is just not fast enough to transfer such big files. Like, games are just going to get bigger and bigger.
Sure.
And if our internet's not fast, it's still going to take a long time. Now, on iTunes, maybe it's a little bit different because the way they encode it and compress the movies, video, music. But for games, I feel like if it's like 4 gigs, 5 gigs, and you're only going about like 600, or even 500 megabytes, it's going to take about 4 hours.
SWTOR took 2 days for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Honestly, I think it's less the time for me and more just like Dana said, like, yes, it is faster in other places, but I'm guaranteed a product that works if I buy it from Steam. And there are, if the game is broken, the game is broken. Like your problem with Dead Island, that's not a Steam problem. That's a Dead Island problem.
Exactly.
But you're guaranteed that, and I have downloaded things when I was single that involved nudity that I did not want to pay a subscription fee for, and it really effed my computer up.
Oh,
and if
yeah.
I would have just paid a subscription to Digital
Because you have a
Playground, that would have
PC,
not
right?
happened.
Whoops.
So that is my fault. And Digital Playground, if you could just send me a free subscription, this would not have happened either. But I agree with you as well. Until the bandwidth, we need
Exactly.
to incentivize people. But I mean, we're so far out from a future where it's like a simple click, and then 30 seconds later you're watching. I mean, anybody that's ever streamed a movie on Netflix knows that. When it initially decides what your quality is going to be, even if I have 720, I'm like, this movie's not going to last 720 the whole time. It's going to be 240 by the half mark. So
I think the next step into kind of even condensing more pirates down is being able to download the game product, but then able to play it during that. So while it's downloading, maybe it'll just wait 30 minutes. Right when you start playing, it still downloads and you're still playing. So it as you play, it downloads and it gets
like a stream.
like a stream in a way. So I think I would say kind of like on live a little bit, but with that whole streaming and playing.
yeah, bandwidth needs to definitely get better.
It just needs to get better, and then that will just get people to be like, yeah, I'll invest my time if I can be able to play it in about 5 or 10 minutes.
Right. Also, does anybody think that real pirates are really pissed off that we're calling these people pirates? I'd like to think that there's a dude with an eye patch somewhere just sharpening
Maybe
his
that's
sword
why
going.
these Somalian pirates are so angry.
Maybe so.
This is what they want. 'cause
Or
they
maybe
haven't
it's because
really...
they live in Somalia.
Oh, okay. Well, it's either of those two things. One or the other. Maybe it's probably a combination of the two.
Yeah,
You're right.
one more so than the other, but I do see where you're going for there. Well, now that we've ended on such a negative note,
Anyway,
That's positive to start.
let's talk about death threats as well. Speaking of companies that, unlike Valve, that people are really pissed off at, you got a great story about the team over at Ninja Theory and some of the threats they've received.
Yeah, to me, the chief design ninja, as that's his official title.
Okay, yeah.
All
At
right.
Ninja Theory.
Do you think that real ninjas are pissed that they're calling them? No. Okay. All right, go ahead. Anyway.
Basically, they've been receiving a lot of death threats and anti-DMC death metal songs.
Oh,
Which is
what a creative way to
creative, right?
Yeah.
It's just a letter or an email.
And they say they're cutting back on the music education in our schools. I mean, clearly, there's plenty.
I tried to search it up to listen to if there were any songs, but apparently I could not find anything on YouTube or Google. So
Yet,
Yet.
audience.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping, because I was just like, how would that sound?
Right.
Ninja Theory, you suck. I don't know.
I mean, I think it would be a little
Don
more
Diablo.
you should die than that.
So-
Yeah,
Yeah.
That was a really nice death threat, Donna.
It was very
it
nice.
was. It was good.
You work on that.
But anyways, to me, or people like to call him the guy who killed DMC. They're not happy, of course, how they look, how Dante looks, because he looks a little too much like a punkish, cute boy, black hair. A lot of people are complaining that it's not the
Befitting of a dude
vision.
named Dante.
Which is weird because the original Dante is not wearing a shirt. He's wearing pants and a red leather trench coat and has white blonde weird hair. It's not like he had this this look that was so far different from, I guess, the scene look is what people are calling the new Dante. So basically people are just upset because he has different hair color.
Right.
But they're really angry about that.
And I mean, and
Women.
all due respect
Somewhat,
to their fan base, but I didn't know that the fan base was as large or as rabid as it apparently is.
I know.
that
Yeah,
it
no,
would
they-
merit some death threats.
Yeah, they are. I mean, I don't want to.
Well,
but they're
Donnell
into
was
death
on
metal.
He was on YouTube the other day looking up some of the videos people are recording, and there's multiple videos of people on YouTube with thousands of hits that are complaining about why this series is going to fail, what they're doing wrong, why these people should be ashamed of themselves, and they are very emo kids.
Right.
So this is an emo movement.
So the looks aside, I mean, Dana, this is a series that, and I'm being fair here, but that hasn't experienced the critical acclaim that it did, at least when it was, it's kind of, it's been on a downward slope, I guess, at least critically for a number of years, and sales-wise as well. Is this just a case of people looking for something very specific to blame or is this people? Are they really upset that his hair has changed and they think that's actually going to make a difference in the actual game's function?
I think when you like something with like a passion of 1,000 burning suns, these little things become important to you that aren't important to the rest of the world, because we still don't have a cure for cancer, but people are really up in arms about this character's hair color. So I don't know if it'll affect the game. I think when you have fans that are that deeply entrenched in sort of the lore and the myth of a series, they do care about those things, and when they try to get changed, it's not okay with them. Now, as in terms of the death threats, I don't know if those are appropriate ever, but that's the way they see fit to deal with
right.
it.
What you get.
Yeah, like some people are. I mean, it's the hair color, of course, but I think it's just the look of he's looking like a Western rather than a Eastern Japanese type of looking person. So I think that's what they're complaining about. That it's too much of a change. That it's just I don't know who I'm. This is not Dante.
Devil May Cry worked so well, they wouldn't have changed it. And Ninja Theory, they did Enslaved and Heavenly Sword, so it's not like they're new to this and that they make incredibly Western games. Like, I mean, this isn't going to be a first-person shooter now.
Right.
Like, I think people just need to calm down. I think this is a bigger picture of just kind of the gaming industry. I think Tamim Antonaden.
Yeah. Not how you say his last name.
Yeah,
but
no,
yes.
I was ad-libbing there. From Ninja Theory said he was half prepared for it, although I have to say that it's been pretty eye-opening to see some of the creative ways in which people have chosen to vent their hatred. And I think that's kind of true just the gaming community. Like, anytime there's something that, doesn't I don't even know, it doesn't make them angry because they haven't played it yet, but just gamers don't like. There's just outcry, and there's just that gamers band together for the weirdest things. Like, I mean, remember when Battlefield 3 had that exclusive DLC and the internet was just up in arms over it?
Yeah.
And there was message boards and Reddit was taken over. And, like, I mean, I'd imagine there was haikus. I mean, gamers are getting more creative. But, I mean, that worked. That all that outcry, it wasn't managed well, but, I mean, it did work. And they got their message out there, and EA changed their DLC policy.
Right.
And, so that worked. But I just don't think that these people who are complaining so vocally have any goals. Like, what are they trying to accomplish?
Yeah.
They're not necessarily asking anyone to change the game. They're just saying this sucks.
I wonder if they'd rather not have them do a game. Like, is that their goal, or do they want it to be the game that specific person who did an adorable little comic book about how all these people should die wants?
I think they want a game. They just want to play with like Dante. They know.
Well, I think it's interesting that you say that because Tamim and goes on to say though that and this it's so interesting that you say that because he goes on to say it's pretty hard for me to back the decisions we've made. Obviously, talking about the appearance. Without showing actual gameplay to the public. So how can you complain about the way a game plays without actually
when all
seeing
you have is a JPEG.
the game played?
Yeah, no, I mean for me the gameplay looks like it's even better. Like
right.
I mean they still have the aerial combos to the ground combos. It's still like Dante. It's just they're just complaining how he looks. And it's the same situation with Infamous 2 back in E3 2010. Cole had hair. He was a pretty boy. Everybody hated that.
Right.
And that company, caved in and said, "Okay, I'll change it." And
hairstyles are a really big deal to the gaming community. I
Apparently
had no
so.
idea.
so they tried to introduce a new Cole, and the community didn't like that. So then they went back to the old Cole, and that's the
So I guess
bald
it
head.
works. I guess
So
complaining does work.
It works, but in Ninja Theory, there doesn't seem like they're going to change it. It seems pretty like, yeah, this is pretty normal.
Sure.
Like he even says that, like Alex Garland warned me about this because he experienced a similar thing with 28 Days Later, where people were upset that they didn't feature real zombies. Now,
Right.
I don't really know the connection between that and 28 Days.
That's what's called name dropping.
I
in
guess
the
so,
industry.
yeah, like,
I
I
got
know.
a friend who
Buddy.
makes movies, and
But I guess the idea of like zombies from going slow to
People
now
don't like
running.
change. I mean, I think that's what it is.
Right.
People, they love something, they hope they cherish it, like Dan was saying, and when you change it, they feel threatened by that.
No.
Yeah, but sometimes it's a good change. Like
like
being
Snakes on a Plane,
revamped.
right? I mean, Sam Jackson wasn't gonna
Snakes on a
say, "Let's
plane?
get these snakes off this plane," and then the internet said, "You better put that in," and then they put it in,
Right.
and it's by far the best line in that movie.
I saw it in
Well,
theaters.
yeah.
That I mean, it's all relative considering, but it's like that was the best bout of diarrhea I've had since
Wow.
I started having diarrhea. But I think that, look, people are going to complain about things. Number one, I think it's on a personal level incredibly silly that 4 adults just sat here for 15 minutes and talked about whether or not a hairstyle should make a difference in gameplay, because we're talking about video games.
This is Bayonetta.
But the bigger picture here is that this dude is getting death threats. And I truly believe this, having met a lot of people that are into video games over the last 10 years or so. I do believe that one of these people, if given the opportunity, may actually try to kill this human being. Like, they can put it together enough. I think there's a lot of hyperbole here, but I do think there is one
It
person
only
that's
takes
like...
one.
I
Yeah.
think you have to worry about the quiet ones. I don't think you have to worry about the ones that draw comic books or write death metal songs. I think you have to worry about the one that doesn't do anything and sits alone seething in his basement plotting your doom, you know?
But he exists. He's the
Saturday
forum
night.
moderator, though.
Right.
Like, he's
no,
the guy
he's out
moderating
there.
all of this.
He's out
Yeah.
there.
But I just think it's absolutely ridiculous that it's to a point where like human beings are receiving death threats from other human beings based on an aesthetic change in a video game.
But the thing on that was that it's just, it shows you how powerful video games are. It's a powerful
Definitely.
media that can
And-
affect
but
users.
your words are just as powerful. Like you got to watch yourself. And I mean, no one's gonna take any legal action here, but it's not like you can just threaten people. Like,
Oh,
there
no.
are
Right.
Yeah.
consequences.
It's not acceptable for sure.
Oh, yeah, no.
Death, no. Life. I vote for life.
Pro-life, man.
Pro-life.
Their lives.
But it's just people, because you can't just tell these gamers. A lot of other people have just been saying, well, if you don't want it, don't play it. But I think it's a more powerful meaning to be like, I love this game and you're ruining it for me. So, there's a better way to express your complaints about that rather than just sending death.
folk songs, maybe.
Absolutely.
Folk
Absolutely.
songs,
I think, yeah.
hip hop,
Yeah.
Yeah.
hippity hoop.
And credit though to Ninja Theory for not saying at all that they're going to change anything. Like there's certain things
Yeah.
you shouldn't crowdsource, and I think creative decisions when you're a game company that have made other games is
Hairstyles.
probably not the best thing to do. So credit goes to them for not only handling this really well, I think, by not trying to take legal action, but also being like, listen, once you see the gameplay, then we can talk. We can have some context, and then we'll see, whatever. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's. But you're right. Death threats are bad, and everybody should live.
Vote
In
for
summary,
Thank you, Blackface Jeff Keighley.
life. 2012.
Yes.
Which is now. So
Yeah. Should have had you in Iowa, man. Would have been better. So now we're going to play a fun little game since there's not a ton of news
True.
right off the bat beyond Donnell's
news
support of
Life.
death.
life. We're
and
gonna play
hairstyles.
and hairstyles.
Hairstyles.
But the beginning of the year is slow, so we're going to play a little game that Nicole created where she's going to read off a bunch of rumors that she may or may not have made up. And
boy.
we are going to tell her whether or not we think it's actually legitimate, but also if we do think it's legitimate, why we think it's a real rumor. The point system will go 0 points if you're wrong, 0 points if you're right. You will win nothing. This game is useless,
All
but it should
right.
be pretty fun. So Nicole, let's hear some of these news stories that may not be real news stories.
All right, so first off, we have Atlas has hinted it might release Persona 5 this year. They told Famitsu the title you've been waiting for may be announced. The title you've been waiting for may be announced. Obviously, the internet and many blogs have pointed to Persona 5 being announced this year. Guys, Persona 5.
True. I think true. Persona is a huge game that in Japan and also it has a small. It has a cult following in North America.
I know one person who's played Persona 2.
Yeah, but it's still like a
And Matt Kyle
popular.
is not here today.
Oh, Matt.
Dang it. And it's a popular franchise. I hate to say this, but it's like Final Fantasy. They just keep making more and more. I'm not saying it's like Final Fantasy. I'm just saying that whole.
So do you think that this room, if they make
Yes.
an announcement, it's going to be Persona 5?
Yes,
All
I
right.
think so.
Okay, so you say yes.
Yes.
Persona 5, this is true. Dana, what about you?
I agree with Donnell because he seems
All right.
to know what he's talking about.
Basically, it's just the tone you take when you say things. People will believe you. I've
Yeah,
learned.
I honestly,
I've learned.
I don't know anything about it.
So next one. Well, I mean, that is a real rumor.
Is it really?
Yeah.
All
See,
right.
I was going to say that
I made that
was
up.
going to say false because the game that I've been waiting for is another Dark Souls or Demon Souls. And when Atlas writes their press
came
releases, they
out.
immediately think of me. So
Probably.
they were going to announce like Gray Souls,
Obviously, no. It's like
lighter Souls,
Darker
dark,
Souls?
Dark- even
no, it's
darker
dark
Souls?
energy,
Ooh,
right?
wow. You're
Dark-
so creative. You really are a rapper. That was a creative way to put two words together.
He's good. He's great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Dark energy.
Rabbit.
Yeah.
I like it. Yo, B-Rabbit, what's up? So that is a real rumor. All right,
Yeah,
Nicole.
that's a real rumor. All right, so next up is Disney accidentally released a newsletter calling out Epic Mickey 2. Epic Mickey 2 will have co-op, according to the newsletter, which was immediately taken down, and Disney has denied that it exists. They will have co-op with Oswald the Rabbit, be on the Xbox and the PS3, and holiday 2012. All that was in a newsletter that was posted on some like UK Disney site for like 37 seconds.
Wow. Okay, immediate question. Was the newsletter delivered by the Pony Express? Who does newsletters anymore? What's a newsletter?
We do a newsletter.
Do we really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh
we
yeah,
do.
G4 has a
I'm
newsletter.
responsible for writing it, so yeah.
We
So
have
read it,
we
guys.
have like 17 different newsletters. If viewers are interested in
Wow.
signing
We
up for
also
any of
have
them,
SMS
What-
text messages that we send out.
What time do you have to have your stories in before the printing press is activated?
5 p.m.
Okay.
Eastern time.
Do you have a visor that's green?
Oh, yeah.
Do you have
It's
like a press
see-through?
card?
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Wow, we have newsletters. You should go to g4tv.com/newsletters and check out all we have to offer.
I don't
Is
think
that right?
that's
That's not
No?
it. That's not it.
But,
Just keep watching feedback then.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's good.
So I'm going to say yes to this one, and here's why. Because Disney is powerful, and if Disney wants to make another Epic Mickey, Disney can make another Epic Mickey. That's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna say,
But multi-platform for sure.
I'm gonna say BS
Okay.
because I think Disney and Square Enix are working on the Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh, you just
then-
opened the Kingdom
His
Hearts box,
optimism
dude.
is so
and
cute.
Kingdom Hearts
the Epic Mickey 2. I don't think they released. They're gonna hold on to that a little bit more, but they're working on with Square Enix guys. So
Okay. All right.
trust me.
I also think this is BS,
Okay.
but only because I don't think Epic Mickey did as well as everybody wants to think that it did.
Oh, I agree. It
Yeah.
didn't do well at all, right?
Cameron
I mean,
will
it
suck.
was
I'll say
actually
it.
really
I'll
bad.
say it.
And Disney doesn't strike me as the type of company that would take a chance, like that would give something like that a second chance. So I think it's probably done.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was a real rumor, guys.
Yeah.
Actually,
I'm a journalist.
But
I
here's
made
the
that
thing,
up.
like
I guessed.
I
Damn
just
it.
don't
Guessed.
think. I feel like that easily could have been like, hey, let's write something up to pitch to our PR people. I don't think that this is solid information. I think Epic Mickey Epic Mickey 2 come out last year.
No, Epic
Epic Mickey came out
Yeah, it was like-
last year, right? Like the
No.
beginning of last year, wasn't it?
I think it might have been
Was it really
at the
2010?
end of
09?
2010.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't think it came
And
out.
then Disney
Oh, yeah,
had
yeah, because we had Warren Spector on E3 in 2010.
Yes.
Man, what happened to 2011?
It flew by.
I know,
many
I killed a lot of
so many
dragons.
days went by fast.
All right, so next rumor, or is Monster Hunter for the Vita.
Boring. Move on to the next. No, just kidding. Just kidding, you
What?
guys. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Some kids like it.
Yes. No, I'm just kidding.
And adults
Kinda.
with jobs.
Yes, adults
adult.
with jobs.
Industry insiders have found screenshots they say that will belong to Monster Hunter for the Vita. Capcom has made no indication of this rumor may be true. As of now, Monster Hunter 4 is only coming to the 3DS.
Wow.
Screenshots, Monster Hunter Vita, what say you?
Well, you're as Blackface Jeff Keighley. You are the most insider of insiders.
I am. Hold on. I'm
So
contacting-
what
I'm
do your
contacting the
people
insiders.
say? What does your cadre of insiders tell you?
It's true.
It's true.
It's true.
Okay.
It's coming on the Vita. I think it's because, again, it's a huge franchise in Japan, but a small cult following in North America. And it was on
Like
the PSP.
7 dudes.
It was on the PSP. So I think they're going to bring it to the Vita with the touch, and you can touch monsters. And
Yeah,
touch monsters.
pet 'em on the
That's
back.
actually what my uncle had me call him when I was growing up. The touch
my
monster.
monster.
No, he was the touch monster for whatever reason.
Come on, Blair.
I don't know if you're kidding or not.
Is that your southern accent? Come on down,
Come on, Blair.
Touch my
There's a lot of
monster.
weird-
I'm doing the thing that my therapist taught me to move past.
Right, you go to the
Okay.
special
Inhale,
place.
exhale.
Good. Two supermodels just had a pillow fight in my brain. It was nice. Dana, what about you?
Place.
What do you think?
I think this is true.
Mm-hmm.
If I say it's not true, my husband will kill me because he loves it.
Yeah.
And he's already got his Vita pre-ordered. We're gonna have one in the house, so yes, I think it's true.
Okay.
Everyone's very excited about it, and it seems to be a popular franchise, like you said, in Japan. Small following in the United States, but they do make a lot of money in Japan.
Absolutely. I'm going to agree with you for those exact reasons. Also because the sales numbers in Japan have been almost non-existent to this point. I think
Yeah.
this is the type of franchise they do bring to this particular platform. And so I think it makes sense on a business level to bring it. Regardless of what the American audience thinks, I think it makes sense to just have it available on the Vita. So
Yep.
so I agree with you on that.
Real rumor. I think it's bull though. I think that I just don't think that they
You
have,
of all people?
Well, I just think that if Capcom doesn't want to spread the series too thin, and they're releasing the next game on the 3DS only, and that's just what they've announced so far. And I just think that it would hurt the sales of that game if they so quickly released an alternative game for a competitive console. So I think it'd be great for Sony if they got it, but I just don't think Capcom's gonna do that to the series yet. That's just what I think. All right, next rumor is it? Let's see. Mafia Wars is going to the consoles. Zynga's gone public. Their stock is out there for you, I guess. I don't know how stock works. So they allegedly feel like it's
Somebody
time
get
to...
Johnson on the phone. We'll figure this out.
God.
I'll tell you about stocks, kids. That's how he talks
That's actually how
in
he
my
talks.
brain. Yes.
Well, and in real life.
This is how he talks in real life.
You know,
I'm Steve Johnson.
I'm Steve Johnson.
Hey, can you do all my work for me?
Do you know why I get here so early in the morning? Because I'm old and I get up early.
And I have a kid.
And if I don't leave right now, then you're going to make me miss out on his childhood. That's what he says every day.
Every day.
Okay,
Does that work?
Well, he leaves.
Yeah, he leaves.
Yeah,
So.
how do you respond to that?
true.
Too bad.
Yeah. All right, so Mafia Wars. Zynga thinks it's time to, according to a source, Zynga thinks it's time that they release a game for the consoles. It would be a downloadable title. Probably would only we wouldn't rely on microtransactions the way their social media game it does. But Mafia Wars going to the consoles, XBLA, PSN.
I'm
say
going to
you.
go ahead and say true. I read between the lines here. Basically what they're saying is like, we need to make some money. And so let's just do this. And
Pay us up front
Yeah,
instead of, slowly at a time.
Yeah, and they also need some news out there that isn't
It's positive.
what people are talking about right now. Yes. So I think this is a good way to detract from the fact that maybe their business practices and the way they've treated some of their employees has been a little unfair. So I think this is totally true.
Okay, now first question. Mafia Wars is that Facebook game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you just
Come on, Diablo, don't act like you don't know this.
Don't
Donnie
act like your
Diablo.
grandma doesn't invite you to play it every 5 seconds.
Right.
Hold on.
She wants you to be a gangster.
You leave grandma out of this. So they want to bring it on the Xbox Live and PSN, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Let's just say yes.
BS, because why move it to the Xbox Live and PSN when you're obviously making... I mean, aren't they making a lot because it's on Facebook? I don't know, because people love doing that. I don't know. I have friends who have, like, Mafia War players. They're always sending invites. I'm like, no, I'm not going to play that game.
To my understanding, their expansion was a little beyond what their revenue was, at least this past year.
Yeah.
So
Maybe they aim too high.
yeah.
Is my guess.
Well, I'm still going to say BS.
I do love how you call it the Xbox Live, channeling your grandmother. Are you playing the Xbox Live right now, Dial?
What are you doing,
What are you doing
Donnell?
right over there?
Playing the Xbox
Are you on the Xbox Live today? So you think it's false? Okay, Dana, you're gonna have to break this tie.
I'm going to have to go with false. And here's why. Xbox Live and PSN are not set up to do microtransactions really well yet. And that's the type of thing that Zynga thrives on. They have to get their customers to buy the coins or buy the hats or buy the whatever. And there's just no good way to do that right now on XBLA unless you buy like a pack. So you could buy like a pack of 90 coins or whatever they use for $20. But I really don't see it being worth their while yet because neither one of those systems is really set up to handle the type of gameplay that they have.
Okay.
I made that up.
Oh!
Yeah, I totally made that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For those of you at home keeping score, people that disagree with Blair won. Blair won. So right now, right down the middle.
All right, so next rumor. A group of diehard Dark Souls fans have formed a petition online that has garnered
Why was I not
over
informed of this?
60,000 signatures, and rumor has it Namco Bandai has heard their cries.
Well, number one, I was not invited to sign this petition, so false. That's false.
It's just a petition? That's it?
The petition's real. It has
Okay.
gained 60,000 signatures so far.
Okay.
And the rumor has it is that because of enough people have shown interest and have pledged that they would buy this game, Namco Bandai Atlas taken her to that, and a PC port is on its way.
Huh. I am all bullshit aside. I'm going to agree with this just because as
You're
one of
hopeful?
the 60,000 people that like this game quite a bit, We are very vocal about the fact that it's awesome, and I think PC players that maybe haven't experienced it on the console would love to play this game. So I'm going to go with true on this.
BS.
You contrary mother effer, man.
BS.
Okay.
Here's the thing. Dark Souls? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Listen here.
Tell me, Donna's older black grandmother. Yes, tell me.
Well, no.
The Dark Souls.
Dark Souls, great game, but had some
Uh-oh.
problems. So I think they're going to create a new game like Dark Energy and have it on the PC.
Now you're
PS3.
just using this as a platform to pitch your own idea. You don't have an actual opinion on this
Atlas.
story.
No,
Call
because
me.
I think the multiplayer is what they probably were complaining at, because you couldn't play. It was very complex. So like you had to be the same level as somebody else who's doing the same quest at the same time. So if your friend is a little bit higher level, you'll never see him. Like, it's very complex, and some people didn't like it. So I think they're going to either create a new game, have a different system behind it, to then have it on the PC. I don't think they're going to port it.
I would like that to happen, but I'm going to disagree with you on that one. Dana, what do you think?
I think it's true. I think they'll bring it to PC. Why not? They've already got the game in. They've just got to port it.
Take 5 dudes.
Way to be the voice of reason.
Yeah.
You're so
But
passionate. You're like, look, the bottom line is that
They're gonna make
the
money,
game already
so-
exists. So.
financially, it
Yeah,
would
it just
make
makes total sense.
Actually, I kind of made that up.
Yeah!
The signature is real, but Namco Bandai Atlas, no one's paid any attention
Well,
to
see,
it.
that's a half truth.
It's a half true. It's a half true.
That's like saying size doesn't matter. It's a half truth.
Okay, yeah.
Right,
all
There's
right.
a size, but
Yeah.
doesn't
I get
really
it.
matter.
It depends on what your size is, and then we'll let you know if it
Yeah.
matters.
And then other things also matter.
Present.
It has.
Right.
It exists.
Why are the two guys more involved in this conversation than the two girls? Creepy.
Yeah.
But sexy?
Or not.
What
Yeah.
conversation?
Go
Let's
ahead.
break eye contact.
All
Okay.
right, all right. So, next streamer, Last Guardian is canceled.
Oh, I don't want to hear that.
God. So apparently, GameStop has called its. This happened late December. Called all of its customers who pre-ordered Last Guardian, telling them that their pre-orders had been transferred to a new game due to the cancellation. So how do you guys-
Actually, he's a bitch.
Right? How do they get your
God.
number? Number one.
I guess if you I don't know. I
Well,
don't
they
pre-order.
pre-ordered the game.
Yeah, they could have some sort of information.
I give fake I straight up give fake numbers and they still find me. I don't know how. And also, you don't need to call me about my Game Informer subscription. I know how many issues I have
Ashley
left.
from GameStop. Your pre-order for 12 years of Game Informer is ready for pickup.
Right. And also, do they get to pick what game it goes to? Like, sorry, you pre-ordered this, but instead you're going to have Persona 5 if it ever does eventually come out.
No,
Putting towards that.
well, the thing is that
Get ready for Dark Energy.
Well,
Try and sell it.
I don't want to say any more until you guys decide if this is real or
Okay.
not.
I think it's totally false, man. There's no way the Last Guardians would be canceled, right? I mean, right, you guys? Right? You guys?
Yeah, no, there's no way it can be canceled. I think it's BS too, because, you know, when I saw that trailer and the boy looking at,
You guys, he's crying. He's actually crying. You need a tissue? I have a sweater.
Use your
Cash-
dark, use your dark
cashmere,
energy powers
so-
too.
there was a connection there that I said, if you cancel this game, how dare you? How
He'll
dare
send
you?
death threats.
I'll
Wow.
send. I don't sing about it.
I will tear you apart with a
So it's BS.
comic book that really hurts your feelings. Dana, what do you do? You think it's canceled? Do you know it's canceled? Is that why you're over there?
I don't know anything. I think it's true, and I'll tell you why. When I saw the trailer, I thought there was one word that popped into my head, and it was expensive. And then the next word that popped into my head was esoteric. So I feel like it was an expensive game that probably wouldn't appeal to a lot of people, and it probably seemed like a really good idea while they were developing it, but they probably got into it. They got too deep. They spent too much money. It wasn't going anywhere. It's done.
Really?
You son of a bitch.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does.
Did they? I feel like though the high definition re-releases of their games not only made them money but also exposed them to a bigger audience. I feel like I read
Ico
that.
and Shadow of the Colossus?
Yeah, I feel like.
Sure, but do you want me to tell you guys the truth?
Well, I
and
think I
break
know
it down?
this.
I don't know if I want the truth.
No,
Yeah.
okay. So after this happened, Sony said this is not true, but
It's Sony.
But well, of course, I'm not going to say it's true. The two people who were in charge of this game, who created Ico and Shadow of the Colossus,
Mm-hmm.
that man, they both left the project. And this game was originally planned for 2011 or
Right.
like 2010. Sony may have denied this rumor, but I think it's 100% true. I think that game's canceled.
Yeah, people don't usually leave jobs in this economy unless they don't have anything
No.
else to work on.
And they
crap.
don't leave jobs that are personally important to
Yeah,
them.
that they
Right.
Unless
created.
someone from the corporate structure comes in and says, "Hey, hi,
We need to have
this
a
is too
talk."
complicated, and people won't get it, or this is taking too long, or this is you're
Right.
wasting too much money. Can you make it cheaper, or can you make it about bats or whatever
Right.
they said?" And so they left. They got offended and they left. So
But it had Falcor from Neverending Story.
I
in it.
know.
That was his name, right? Falcor?
Yes,
The beautiful flying dog?
it is
Yeah.
now.
Falcor?
Falcor, yeah, Falcor and Atreyu.
All right.
Come on.
Wasn't Falco?
I don't know.
Rock Me Amadeus, different Falco.
I thought Edie Falco, like it's amazing
Whoa.
where everybody's brains
Yeah.
are, right? I'm like, why
I
would
thought
they
Star
reference
Fox,
the
and then
act?
Anyway,
That's really, really disappointing, and I'm really
Sorry.
glad Jessica's not on this show because,
she'll be crying.
well, it's suicide, like actual suicide, and we already paid for the wedding, and I can't get that stuff back. So, as you
Right.
know,
I mean, I'm not saying that I'm happy about it. I'm just saying it just seems like
Right.
it's done.
well,
Okay, so we're
it's
almost,
unfortunate if it's true.
We're running out of time here, so I'm going to read off a few very quickly and very, because I want to get to the fan feedback.
Yeah,
so,
let's get some rapid fire
so
up in this
rapid
joint.
fire,
Lightning
give us,
round.
give
tell
us
me
two
what you
more.
think.
Give us
Okay.
two more.
So God of War 4, what do we think?
True,
True.
absolutely.
True.
Gonna
All
happen.
right, so let's see. A new model for the 3DS Lite.
True.
True, but unnecessary.
Okay, both those are true.
Boom.
The Hitman Profession may be the next game because HitmanProfession.com has been registered by Square Enix. Potentially the worst video game title ever, Hitman Profession.
BS.
I want to put Blair Herter hosting job on my business card because it's the same as what they just said right there.
BS.
I'm gonna go with true just because why not? They've
Yeah,
made so
it
many
seems
terrible
like
creative
something they
decisions
do.
in the past.
Yeah, no,
that
that's true. Okay, let's,
one more. Give us one more.
Okay, Dota 2 to be free to play according to inside sources.
True.
You know what? Brian's really into this stuff. What do you think Brian would say about this?
All right, I'm gonna channel Brian. True.
I made that up.
All right, I
made
was
that up.
gonna say no then.
Okay.
I was totally gonna say
Sorry,
as well.
sorry.
I was keeping score. I won. I don't know how. Yeah, fan feedback. That was actually a fun game. We should do that more often.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Internet, for making up so much stuff all the time.
Right.
Thank you, Internet, for so much.
You
You're the
guys
true
are
winner.
great.
Oh, real quick though, because it happened today. This is another rumor. Someone tweeted the Diablo community manager. Can you confirm that Diablo 3 will come to consoles? He replied, "Yup."
Ah.
So that's another rumor.
Yeah.
I don't know what "yup" signifies.
or he's fired.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll see. Well, let's
Or
see at the end of the day.
He could confirm yes or no, and he was just saying that yeah, he
trickery.
could confirm it,
Yeah.
but he's
or
not.
a combination of yes and nope. Yep.
You guys are such members of the media right now.
Does it
It's
show?
amazing. Well done. All right, let's get some fan feedback. What are we giving away today, Nicole? Did we have anything?
Oh, we have this wonderful mystery prize.
All right,
Yeah.
check it out. Let's
Wow.
get can we get a close up on
It's
that mystery
probably
prize?
a Counter-Strike Go T-shirt.
Okay.
That's what I have right now to give you guys.
Also, and definitely this Sharpie.
And this pen.
All right, so there you
Donnell,
go.
just lost a pen.
Oh man.
Oh.
No,
only
actually,
pen.
we actually have cool prizes. I don't have them for you, but we get cool things here at G4, so we're glad to share them.
Yeah, because we have so many, we don't need them all. What? White people problems. Saturday Night Live did it. Saturday Night Live
It's
did it.
cool now.
He did
It's
it first.
acceptable.
Yeah, it's fine. So Dana, let's pick. Let's say we pick our favorite two fan feedbacks from this page right here.
Yes, let's.
Not they're all our favorites, you guys, but we only have time for two of them. So
It's
let's
true.
go.
Yeah.
We're gonna do one fun one and then one serious
Okay,
one. So
fair enough.
let's do
Great.
the serious one first. Brady Petrick says, "Dearest feedbackers,
Oh,
I
So
got
polite.
I got a corrupt save file in Arkham City and all my data was obliterated. This
Word.
reminds me of the incident with Skyward Sword a few weeks ago. Why aren't more of these glitches found by developers? When is a glitch forgivable and when is it a deal breaker?"
that kind of glitch never forgivable.
Yeah.
In my opinion, that's a massive hole in that game.
Yeah.
Should have been found. Don't know why it wasn't. Rocksteady, obviously, their games are
They
pretty
had a
quality
few
so far.
issues that they resolved, but I don't know how a developer or publisher would resolve this. You can't get back your time.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. I mean, you had a terrible story about your Borderlands
Yeah,
character,
I
right?
had when I first started playing Borderlands, I got to probably level 15 before my file was corrupted for no reason. And I tried, and I went to the forums, and a lot of people had this problem, and there was just no fix for it. And I lost that character. And the Gearbox has has won me over, you know, in the loyalty department, because on my birthday they send me an email, like as a forum member.
And that's what it takes.
And that's what it takes. No, but and with Skyward Sword, there is a glitch where if you talk to someone before you talk to somebody else, you could not progress through the game. And I mean, that's different than a corrupt save file, but it's basically the same.
Right.
You can't progress through the game.
You know, and this is something that we've obviously talked about a lot. And the part of the question where he says, why aren't more of these glitches found by developers? I don't think it's a lack of oversight or Q&A, because like we saw Todd Howard last year at PAX East, which the first one of the year is PAX East, right? And then PAX Prime is later.
Yeah.
We saw Todd Howard last year at PAX East, and I was like, you know, are you excited about shipping the game, et cetera, et cetera? He's like, I'm so excited to play the game because I've spent the last 2 years trying to find what's broken.
Yeah.
Every day. And this is the top of the food chain there. They've got an entire team of people under him, and they're all testing this game.
Yep.
So you can't catch them all, but when big ones like this slip through the cracks, it does kind of make you wonder, like, how did that happen? But it's not for lack of trying, I don't think, on their part.
Yeah, the process of like finding glitches as a game tester or part of a QA group is that you know, if it happens, you write it down and then you have to perform it again and again. It's not this one time and they say, okay, we'll fix it, because they don't have either time or money to fix all the bugs that happen. Sometimes it's either, well, hopefully they just don't do that. But if it's something that slips by is corrupting your data as your character, yeah, that's something that it's like that's not acceptable. So, but it's about finding that and then performing it over and over again, and then giving it to the devs to do what they do.
Right. So we're all in agreement. Not forgive this level.
Yeah.
Not forgivable.
Yeah, and I just. It's just so unfortunate, because if there's nothing you can do, he just lost.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's no.
And then you have to play it again, and then playing it the second time when you have that anger. Because I know when I had to do the first 15 of Borderlands again, I was kind of bitter.
Right.
Like, that game eventually became one of my favorite games, but it's just having to do that again. You have contempt for the game, and that's not fair.
Right.
You just bought that.
But good news, Brady. We're gonna make it better by sending you something free.
It's true, yes.
A t-shirt.
T-shirt.
I mean, I think, and I'll preface these comments by saying I just reached level 50 with my character in Saints Row. And if
Congratulations.
anything
happens to that character,
happened to that character, I would probably burn Volition to the ground. But as also someone who's worked in on the development side of things, you have to understand that sometimes these bugs happen. And like Donnell was saying, you have to be able to reproduce them over and over again. And the testers won't be able to reproduce them.
Right.
And so the company at that point needs to make a decision like, well, okay, 500 people might lose their save files, but, 1 million people are going to play the game and be fine. We got to ship with that. And it's tough because video games sort of straddle this line between being business and art. And so, people are playing like, Brady, and he's invested his time into it, and he's become emotionally attached to, what's going on. And then all of a sudden that's gone. And it's because a business decision was made.
Right.
So.
Because it is a business at the end of the day.
It is.
Yeah.
A heart goes out to him.
It
Very
does.
much so.
I feel
And
that.
all the files lost.
And our T-shirts. They also go down to you. All right, Dana, let's find one more. A
So
happier one, maybe.
Yes, our next question is a fun question. It comes from Vitruvian Man. What is one of your earliest video game memories, good or bad?
Wow. That's a really good question.
Earliest?
I act like mine's kind of lame, but, it's my earliest one, I think. I remember, so growing up, like I lived in a trailer park, right? Which in and of itself is just a shitty place to grow up as a child. But then my parents moved our trailer to the middle of nowhere on a farm. So I lost they were terrible kids that live in trailer parks, but at least I had somebody to play with. But my parents moved us all the way out to the middle of nowhere, and it was like, oh, now I have nothing to do. And I remember one day, like, I had like a bad time adjusting, like the first 2 months of living out there by ourselves. I was really bummed out. And I remember coming home one day, we were really poor, and my mom and dad had like saved up for a couple months and bought was it either Rad Dudes or Bad Dudes? You remember that game?
Yeah.
It was a bad.
I think it was Rad Dudes.
It was one of the two, right?
Yeah.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but bought that game basically, and they had left it on my bed, and the note was literally like, "This can be your friend." My mom and dad wrote, "This can be your friend," and those two dudes, Bad or Rad, were my friends. And so that is my earliest I guess it's a good and a bad memory, but
I think that's great.
those two guys got me through a very awkward transition from poor to really poor. So
Well,
that's my
it's
story.
It shaped you very well,
Yeah.
and clearly video games are your friend still.
Absolutely. So that's my story. Nicole, what do you have?
Mine's not a tearjerker, but I have all boy cousins on my mom's side, and whenever I would go to their house, they would all go outside to play basketball and stuff, and like, So I would stay inside and I would play the SNES. And the first game I remember playing was the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers SNES game, and it was, and I just remember like the 16-bit putties and just like a lot of this.
Yeah.
That's what I remember.
That's how video game
Yeah.
karate was back then.
Yeah.
That's how they
It
roll.
hasn't changed a whole lot in the Power Ranger series.
It's true.
Man, what? happened
If
to
a
that?
formula works, okay,
It's true.
spandex works in fighting crime. So. That
For
else?
some people.
I just
Yeah.
wanted to make it
I was like,
obvious.
I just put a lot of members of the LAPD that I know in spandex, and it does not apply to them.
I think my earliest memory was the game Kung Fu,
Oh yeah.
and I remember how difficult that was, and I was just like so upset. And my brother used to tease me about that, like, "Oh, you suck, you can't," dude. And I like fought with him, and I was just like the guy, like actually trying to do the
How
moves
old
and
were
stuff.
you?
Like, I must have been like what, like 1, 2. Like I was
You-
playing
you-
games.
you were not
You were
one.
a
I was
violent
First of
Yo.
all,
infant.
bro,
No.
if you remember
No.
anything from being one,
Yes.
your brain is extraordinary.
Scientists want to
You're
study.
welcome.
You're welcome.
He just looked at me and pointed like that's proving that his brain is huge. Just so you know, if you ever want to tell people that you're smart, just do this, apparently.
They either get it or they don't.
Just, and I don't, because my brain's not as big as yours.
Or do you?
Was that the game where the clay pots would fall from the ceiling and you'd have to punch them out of the air, and then sometimes they had snakes in them? Do you remember that
I can't
karate
remember.
game?
Only thing I remember is
that
people
Did
walking.
I just make that all
and I
up?
Just,
Yeah, you
maybe.
did.
Just kicking
Maybe you guys can
forward.
put that in
That's all
Dark
I can
Energy.
remember. And then it was just like I couldn't get past the first level, which is going up the stairs, and I was just like, "This is shit," like what is going on?
Don't say it.
So, and which is you had an extensive vocabulary at one. You already knew curse words? That's incredible.
Yeah, no,
Your parents were bad
One.
people, man. They exposed you to some terrible
Take
things.
that back, Blair.
My grandma's old and my parents are shitty. You're a horrible human being. Dana, what about you?
Like you, I grew up. We were not well off, and we lived in the middle of nowhere in Ohio. And I wanted a Nintendo desperately, just more than anything, and we couldn't afford one. So sometimes, like every couple of weeks or so, my dad would drive into Kent, Ohio, and we'd go to this place at a strip mall called Funsville, USA. And we would go and play arcade games.
Sounds fun.
And it was great. It was great. It was a really good memory. And then eventually I did get a Nintendo. So
Yeah,
that
you
was a
did.
very good day. But the trips to the arcade with my dad I have really good memories of those.
I miss the arcade. I don't know if you guys, if it was as much a part of your childhood as ours, but man,
Yeah.
arcades were the best.
I was
They
never
were great.
allowed to go.
Yeah,
Well,
see,
that's the thing.
It
It's
was
like arcades
a 7-year-old
became
daughter. Go have fun. It wasn't like that.
arcades became something very different places
Yeah.
than they were in our childhood. They were a sanctuary when we were younger.
It's true, yeah.
They were a target of opportunity for certain people, you guys' generation. Pedophiles is what I'm
We
talking
were
about.
talking
Okay, I
about
wasn't-
pedophiles on it.
Pedophiles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. But that's a
is-
good memory, though.
Yeah, because it's sad. Because I was like,
Let's move away from the
probably,
pedophile talk.
6 or
memory.
7, and my dad, we'd go in, and my dad would play something, and I would just run around and play. He'd give me a handful of quarters. And
Do you remember what you played?
Let's see, not
Dragon's
especially.
Lair.
No, I mean, I think there was like a very, very early Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade cabinet that I really liked because I was super into the turtles when I was young.
No, I get it.
But that's the only one that I have like a really good memory of. So.
Right. Was that the one where, and again, I could just be making this up because I've made up most of the games I've talked about today, but the side scroller that they eventually brought to Xbox
Yes.
Live? I love that game.
I bought it for Xbox Live. Didn't hold up.
Aw.
It's like a 30
What do you mean
minute-
didn't hold up? You didn't play it at 2,
Well,
unless you were like Donnell did,
I
obviously.
played it
was
at
in the
like
arcade.
9, maybe, but not in the arcade.
I was
think
writing my dissertation on that game at 4.
And then I killed somebody about it. I don't know. He's violent and a good vocabulary.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great game. I want arcades to come back, and they've tried to make adult arcades,
Yeah.
and
Barcade.
yeah.
Barcade's creepy.
It's really
There's some
dark.
really creepy people at
But
Barcade.
Dave and Buster's could have been like Dave and Buster's,
Yeah,
the
but there's, like,
GameWorks, but
dark
they
in
just,
here. I can't see.
these screens are too dark.
It's perfectly acceptable for adults to hang out at Chuck E. Cheese.
Not according to the laws of Chuck E. Cheese. Just FYI.
Law
James.
number 1, our pizza's bad. Law number 2, no adults
No,
without
you
children.
do realize, like, so there's a Chuck E. Cheese on the way to the airport, and one time my flight, as I was going to the airport, like American Airlines called me, they're like, your flight's delayed 3 hours, and I was like, I'm not going all the way back home. There's a Chuck E. Cheese. I'll just go play some video games, see some pizza. You will not be led into the gaming area of Chuck E. Cheese if you do not have a child with you.
They should be able
And
to
maybe
rent
it's
children.
the one. And granted, the Chuck E. Cheese by the airport is not the best neighborhood, but apparently you gotta have a kid go in there with you,
That's injustice.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
To be fair, I was masturbating as I walked in the front
Right,
door, so
of course.
there was that. But still, thank you guys so much for this wonderful conversation.
Anyway.
This was great. Before we go, though, as always, anything that you're working on that people can look forward to seeing?
No, just the feed as usual. G4TV.com/the feed. Mm-hmm. Video games.
Well done.
Yeah.
Donnell, don't say anything. I'm going to save you for last because I'm sure it's weird. Dana, what about you?
It's gonna be
It's
weird,
gonna be
Dana.
out.
I'm
I
sorry.
don't. I'm the reviews editor, so as soon as games start coming out again, you'll see reviews.
And a little insight into Dana's job. She has the unenviable position of being the person who gets the game. So anytime a big game comes out, she gets like this
Oh my
barrage of emails from
God.
everybody like, how many copies did we get? Can I borrow that? So I'm sorry about that.
That's okay, but everybody just needs to keep in mind that like we have things to do with the games before you can play them.
Yeah.
This is ruining everything. You know, we get all the games. We get all the games in the world, and everybody gets to play them. And
Infinite T-shirts.
Yeah.
Yes, it's paradise.
Whatever. Ladies, you might want to take a step back because I'm sure it's going to get creepy. Donnell, anything you'd like to say to our audience at home today?
I certainly do, Blair.
I like it already.
What is that voice?
Well, before I hit that topic, I will say we do have. I created a evolution of dance, but with MMO. Back in September 13, 1999, EverQuest introduced dance. So we have compiled all the dance emotes that leads up to today's MMOs, and we're showing you the history. I mean, Discovery Channel might pick this up. So if you want to check this out, go to g4tv.com/MMO dance.
Okay.
So that's what first thing I want to promote.
Sure. But more importantly, the second thing.
Second thing, if you didn't hear me last episode or the day before, week before that, you know, I was trying to be nice and to communicate with you fellow viewers and to just have a chat. You know, you could be a 18 or older female. You can definitely email me at Donnell. That's DONELL at g4tv.com. You might have been confused last time because you might have put in the wrong spelling. It's okay. But just make sure, you know, just tell me how your day is, you know, and you can still be my player 2, player 3, or player 4. I mean, anything goes in the Donnell zone. So
Donnell zone.
it's great.
I'll play wingman. Donnell and I have worked together for a couple years now.
Yeah, this just took a turn for the best.
He's great.
Hard worker.
Any woman, I think, would be lucky to enter the Donnell zone or to have the Donnell zone enter them, perhaps.
Thank you guys so much for watching Feedback this week. g4tv.com/feedback. I'm going to go bathe.
That was so weird.